Did you know that your friends in Korea might not actually be your chingu? Now, the word chingu doesn't actually mean just friend. It does mean friend, but it's specifically a friend who's also the same age as you. And this will be Korean age. So in order to get your Korean age, you take the current year, you subtract your birth year, and you add 1. So if someone else was born in the same year as you, then they could be your 친구 if you're friends. So that means if you have a friend in Korea who is older than you or younger than you, well, they're technically not your 친구. So you typically wouldn't call them 친구. Now, I should give a disclaimer. This actually applies more to native Korean speakers. As a non-native Korean speaker, so someone who's learning Korean like you or me, we get a pass to use this word kind of like the English word. So you might have an older or a younger Korean friend who calls you 친구, and they're just doing it because they know that you are not a native Korean speaker, but they wouldn't do this themselves to another Korean. And in addition, many younger people, and younger people are often who set language trends. Many younger people are using the word 친구 with close friends, even if they're not the same age, if they weren't born in the same year. However, even younger Koreans who are using 친구 like that for, similar age friends, they would still not use this word 친구 to refer to an older friend who's much older than them. So if there's any sort of large gap, then they wouldn't use this word. Now, they might use 친구 again to refer to a friend who is a few years younger or a few years older than them, but again, only with a small age gap, not a larger age gap. And in addition, no matter who you are, so native Korean or not, you would never use the word 친구 to refer to someone you're close with who's like your teacher, or maybe an elderly man or elderly woman who's your neighbor. Even if you're very close, you would still never call them 친구, whether you are a native speaker or not. So this usage in the future may change over time, but typically you would only use the word 친구 to refer to a friend who's the same age as you. So then what other words can you use for your friends? Well, first of all, if you're just close with someone, you don't necessarily have to call them a friend. You can just use the descriptive verb 친하다. Now, 친하다 means to be close with someone or to be friends with someone. And this can be for any age, for anyone. You could say, 우리는 친해요. We are close, we're friends. Or you can also use this as an adjective. So if you conjugate it, you can get 친한 and then put a noun. So someone who you are close with. So a close 선생님, even a close teacher, 친한 선생님, or 친한 anything. And there are other ways that you can conjugate this, but you get the idea. 친하다 means to be close with someone. So then let's say you just want to say, they're my friend. You don't want to say we're close, but you really want to call them a friend. Well, how could you do that if they're older or younger than you? First, for people who are younger than you can actually just call them 동생. Alternatively, this is something you can express in Korean, which I think is really nice. You can also add the expression, or I should say conjugated verb, 아는, which comes from the verb 알다, to know. So literally, 아는 means someone who I know. So 아는 동생. Like, yeah, they're a friend of mine. They're just someone I know. I have a younger friend. Versus 친한 동생 is like, yeah, and we're really close, but it still conveys, yeah, I have this friend I know. So 아는 동생. And you can put 아는 before anyone that you know. So anyone who you know, 아는 선생님, there's a teacher that I know. And that kind of implies that maybe you're not close friends, but you do know each other. So then what if it's an older friend? Well, you can just use the regular words 오빠, 형, 누나, and 언니. 오빠 would be an older male friend to a female, an older male friend to a male, an older female friend to a male, and an older female friend to a female. And you can also add 친한, as we had before, or 아는, depending on what sort of relationship you want to convey that you have with them. So you could say 친한 오빠 or 친한 형. Okay, but these are for regular friends. What about a coworker? Now, in English, you could say, yeah, I'm friends with her, we work together. But you wouldn't say 친구 for a coworker in Korea. Instead, you could use the terms senior and junior. So that would be 선배 and 후배. Now, these are actually not related to age. These are related to how long someone has been at that institution, for example, at that company. So if someone's been there for a lot longer than you, then they are your 선배, regardless of how old or young they are. And it might be rude to refer to them by these terms unless you're really, really close with them outside of work. Or if you want to be extra polite, you can also attach 님 to the end of both of these. So 선배님, 후배님. Okay, and I do have a few more words for friends, so let me put those up now. Here's another useful word. If they are your friend, but they're not just your good friend, but they're your best friend, you can also use the word 절친. 절친 comes from the descriptive verb 절친하다. So you might see this as a definition, 절친한 친구. So a very close friend, but 절친 can be used kind of like slang to mean a best friend. Another useful word that you should definitely learn is 지인. Literally, 지 means to know and 인 is a person, so it's a person you know, an acquaintance. So this doesn't mean friend, but it's really useful when you just want to say, like, no, I mean, I know them, they're an acquaintance. And finally, if you saw the Korean drama Squid Game, you're probably familiar with this word, so I think I should talk about it. 간부. Now, if you use this word normally, people are gonna think you're just a fan of Squid Game. They're gonna think you're just joking because it's normally not used commonly to mean friends. It's used to refer to someone who you are very close with, who you share everything with. Maybe someone who you're on the same team as, like in a game. And this one is not like chingu. In fact, this can be used for any age, as you saw in Squid Game. So it could be used with someone much older or younger, or people of the same age, or anyone. Now, I don't recommend using this word seriously, so don't say that your friends are your ganbu, but you can use it jokingly, especially if you're playing a game together with someone and you want to refer to someone who's on your team, like you're close, like, yeah, me and you, we're ganbu, then yeah, you can use it like that. It'll be a bit funny, but it will work. All right, so this is pretty much everything you need to know for how to refer to someone else who you're close with, or not close with necessarily. Did I miss any? Are there any other words you can think of that mean friend? Please let me know in the comments below. I do check all of those. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.